YouTube, how is it going? It's a lazy old Sunday here. It is Sunday, it's like the last Sunday in September. I believe today's the 29th. I am Rhino Prophet, the artful Rhino Prophet. I'd like to welcome you all to my channel for a video today. Earlier today, this morning, it's about, a little before lunchtime. It's about 11, I can't see the clock, but it's about maybe 11:05. 11:10, maybe 10 after 11. I was thinking this morning, as I was about the subject over the last couple of days. Let's talk trips for a moment. I'm in my recliner, in case you can't tell, or a recliner of a couch, or in my mom's house. But anyway, let me talk vacations with you for a moment. For those of you, I got Star Wars playing on the TV, so I'm watching that and talking to you all at the same time. Recently I did a video with my friend Mike about an upcoming trip that we've got going along to Disney World. In about 9 weeks. December 8th through the 15th. A little over 9 weeks away, maybe 10, I don't know. Anyway, I need to look at the calendar. But anyway, I was thinking, it's never too early to start planning your next trip, or at least start thinking about it. You know? But anyway, I was thinking, let's see if we have a place to set this damn thing up. What I was thinking, I know my mom and I, we talked about this earlier this year. Bear with me, I'm trying to set my phone up. But Mom and I, we were trying to talk about this earlier this year, right? We were planning on, I think our next trip after this Disney trip, bear with me, is probably going to be in the spring, maybe late February after my birthday, or early March. I'm trying to plan a trip out to Arizona. And see a Major League Baseball spring training game, you know? One trip that we did, has been many, I say many years ago, it's been like maybe 20 years ago. I was like 14, maybe 15. We were, I think I was like 13 at the youngest. We were taking a trip with a friend of ours up the East Coast. We went up through the Carolinas, up into New England, made a stop in Boston, Massachusetts, went all the way up to through Cape Cod, through Rhode Island, and finally our peak point was up through Portland and Maine. And we made a stop in Bar Harbor, right? That's as farther north in the lower 48 that I've been. That is until we got to New York State. We went into Niagara Falls over to Toronto. Then as far north in the lower 48, up the North Atlantic coast. As far as east and as far as north as I've ever been. In the lower 48, but the farthest north and west I've ever been was the Pacific coast of Alaska. But I was thinking maybe taking a trip up the East Coast. But I know this coming summer, um if you don't include my Disney trip, we're tentatively talking about taking a trip to Arizona in the springtime, late winter, early spring. We're taking a spring training game, and then late July we're going to be taking a few days. We were taking a small trip for a family reunion, which we did 2 years ago out in northwest Kansas, southeast Nebraska, which is we stayed in a small town called Steiner, a very rural town, and I live in the city of Louisville, Kentucky, right? Louisville, Kentucky. That's I told this before, so if many of you who have told about this on more than one occasion, I apologize in advance. Steiner, Nebraska is a very, like, middle of nowhere area. It's like picture the Sahara Desert that covers 75% of the United States, and there's a small little area of palm trees and a small pond as an oasis. That's how rural this place is. Like a small scoop of handful of water, and you throw it back into like Atlantis or something. 600,000 plus people. 600,000 and change is Louisville Metro. That's up here. Steiner, Nebraska will be right down here. Total population, 55 people. That's it. 55. And here we are up here on top of K2, almost the top of Everest compared to this thing with 600,000, over 500,000 people and change. And then you got Steiner, Nebraska with 55 people. I've never seen any small town like it. So shout out to the people of Steiner, Nebraska. About half that town, half the residents of that town are just relatives of mine on my mother's side, descendants of Ludwig Gatula and all his children. I understand some of his children had several children. My mom's branch was one of his children, John Gatula, was one of his kids, and Ludwig Gatula would have been my 3 times great-grandfather. There's me, my mom, and her 2 brothers, including my late Uncle Norv. Grandpa, Norman the First. Great-grandpa, John would have been my 2 times great-grandfather. Ludwig, who's settled over here before the Civil War, would have been my 3 times great-grandfather. But that was fun getting to know. We got to meet my mom's first cousin, Randy, his wife, Lori, who I affectionately call Aunt Lori and Uncle Randy. That's what I like calling them. Matter of fact, Randy, Lori, we were listening to your football game on Friday out there in Nebraska, in Fall City. Thanks for giving us a shout out. I messaged him on Facebook. I said, hey, we're listening to your game live on the internet. Can y'all give us a shout out? Uncle Randy's like, we got a couple listeners from Louisville, Kentucky listening in. A couple relatives of ours, Lana and Matthew Prophet, my first cousin and her son. And my mom had no idea I was going to do this, but I surprised her, so. But anyway, that's what we got coming up as far as trips go that I know about in the next year. Now, there's places I've been to. I've been to a lot of places. I've lived a pretty privileged life, but I've been on, I believe when we went to Alaska on my cruise, that was my 2nd time up there on a cruise, but this would have been my 15th lifetime cruise. Maybe my 14th, maybe my 15th, I don't know. But anyway, that would have been my 15th cruise. I bet I've seen 95% of the states, with maybe 2 to 3 of them. At least 4 that I haven't been to. I scratched 1 off the list. I got to cross off Washington State. That's when we got off the boat in Seattle. I got to scratch Seattle and Washington State off my states list. The only ones I haven't been to that I know of, at least to my knowledge, I know I haven't been to Hawaii. I have not been to Oregon. I haven't been to Idaho. Maybe I haven't been to Idaho. I want to say I have been to Utah, but I don't remember. We may have crossed the border once when we were crossed that state line once or twice when we were out in Yellowstone some years ago in Wyoming. But Oregon, Hawaii, Idaho, New Mexico. That's one I haven't been to. Maybe I know I haven't been to Oklahoma. I've been to Texas once. We were on our way back from Tampa on a flight, and we had to switch planes. We had like a 3.5 hour layover in Houston. So I was any place where I actually put my feet in, whether it's an airport or not, I'll say I've been there. But we let's see, I've been to Kansas. Well, actually, no. There's a place I haven't been to. Hawaii, Oregon, New Mexico, Oklahoma. Hawaii, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Oregon. I want to say I have, but I'm not sure if I've been to Vermont yet. It's like 5 states I haven't been to. Hawaii, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Vermont, and Idaho. Oh, and North Dakota. I don't think I've been to North Dakota yet. That's 6. So that's like maybe, maybe 95% of the states I haven't been to as of this point. I'm not sure. Actually, no. Wisconsin. That's 7. With a question mark next to it. I'm not sure if I've been to Wisconsin. That will be a nice place to go to, especially up in Green Bay. Go Pack, go! But I do have one question. If you guys were to go to anywhere in the world, like, not anywhere in the world, let's start with here in America. I follow this thing called Roadside Attractions on Facebook. Let's say if you were to recommend any place in any of those states, any of those 7 states I've mentioned, if you had to mention any place to go in any state, where would you want to go? What makes it interesting? What would you want to see? Any recommendations on where to stay? Any restaurants? Any attractions? Any whatever? I like interesting stuff. What would you see in those states that people from out of town don't know about, but actually stop and see once they discover it? Any curiosities? Any roadside oddities? Attractions? You name it. Just throw me something. Throw me something in the comments section. I will be sharing this on Facebook. So Facebook, if you guys have anything, throw some at me. So, anybody else? I want to hear if you guys have a funny vacation stories, like some stories with your family, that something weird happened on a vacation of yours. Comment. I'd love to hear about it. I know a bunch of shit's happened with me and my family, especially when we were traveling with my Uncle Mark and my triplet cousins. I got his kids, they're triplets. They're about 2 years and a week younger than I am. I was born in February of 89, and they were born in February of like frickin' 1990, maybe 91. They're like 2 years and 1 week younger than I am. Almost identically 2 years. But anyway, the three triplets. One of them's a doctor, one's a teacher, and the other one's an entrepreneur in the real estate business. Oh my God, Adam, Emily, and Ross. Adam's a doctor, and he's married to an Air Force officer who's also a doctor. Emily, school teacher, married to a state trooper. Actually, no. Emily's married to John. We call him Buzz. And then Ross. Not married, but he's got a certain someone. They got 4 kids together. He's a real estate guy. He flips property. I call them the doctor, the teacher, and Rossi. That's what we call him, Rossi. So, the doctor, the school teacher, and Rossi. I love you guys. But anyway, when we were doing traveling, before we had cell phones, okay, we're talking about the kids now, not the adults. My Uncle Mark, this is before technology was the way it is, okay? We all, my mom, Uncle Mark, and my Aunt April and my Uncle Mark were the only two who had cell phones. My mom and Aunt April were the only two who had cell phones. Uncle Mark had one, but none of his kids did. So you know what happened? My Uncle Mark, because when we were going out west, we were roaming with no signal. The only thing we had on our phone was a clock. Uncle Mark goes out and he's got a couple of CB radios that we can hitch into our vans. So we're going along at middle of freaking nowhere. The only thing that we got are the plains, the western plains of like Iowa, Nebraska, and a couple of Iowa cornfields. An occasional truck stop. The only thing we could pick up on the radio was like the radio stations we passed through. We got TV in our excursion van, like flipping through channels, checking out the weather. But in the middle of nowhere, if we don't have any signal on either one, the next possible thing, as well as communication, is CB radio. So we'd be tuning in. Like, we had our own private channel on channel 21. No traffic on there except us. So occasionally, if I got bored, and Uncle Mark and them were behind us or whatever, occasionally I switch over to channel 21. Or what channel's the channel? 19. I listened to them for a while. And then we'd pull over for a little while and wait for Uncle Mark and them to catch up. They get on the radio. But that was my source of entertainment. So I figured out I had a little CD player, right? I figured out how to plug that thing in and hardwire that thing into our channel, into the CB radio, and put it on channel 21. And I got to hook that up to our car radio. You with me? And I started playing some CDs over the radio. And I said, you were listening to freaking channel 11, like 021 CB radio. Your source for repeated music. Okay, comfortable, because we only got like only got like a certain number of CDs. Any song requests? But that was funny. But yeah, any funny vacation stories you have, feel free to share it with me. I I'm really looking forward to my Disney trip because my buddy Mikey, he's been to Disney World. I've been to Disney World multiple times. Okay, talk about living a well-deserved and privileged lifestyle. Don't hate. But anyway, that's what we're gonna hook up in a park, maybe a couple days, but you never know. So, vacations. Where should I go next? After at least these 2 trips to Nebraska and Disney World, where should I put on my radar? Give me a like. Subscribe. Give me the like, subscribe, hit that notification bell right there. If you want to rate, if you want to do a, if you want an update, even comment. Where should I go next? What's your favorite memory of road trip? What's the funniest thing that's happened to you? The weirdest encounter you've ever seen? Have you met anyone famous when you were on the road? Share with me. I am the Artful Rhino. I am the Artful Rhino. Happy trails to you. And until the next video, till we meet again, and I am out of here.